What's up, gamers? I'm your host, Cobra, and today we're reviewing the Riot Racers drop. So, this afternoon, the Riot Racers team completed their third drop. Overall, I thought it was pretty successful. Didn't go perfectly, so let's talk about the good and the bad. First, on the negative side, when 4 o'clock hit, the website crashed. Really not that unusual. I see that happen quite a bit. It came back up relatively quickly, but when it did, everybody had been logged out of their MetaMask, and everybody was having a lot of trouble getting logged back in. That lasted for about 15 minutes, at least on my end. I think some people were able to get in a little bit quicker than that, but it's about 15 minutes for me. It seemed like about the same for some of my friends that were going after this drop as well. And then at that point, things were loading, but it wasn't letting us add it to the cart. That lasted for a few more minutes, and then it finally started to work, at least for a whole bunch of people. And from that point, it sold out relatively quickly. A little bit difficult to gauge because they had a reservation system, and you had 15 minutes to complete your transaction, and then the reservation would go back if you failed to actually make a purchase. So you can't quite compare it to other drops in terms of time, but from a demand perspective, it was absolutely there. Had the website worked perfectly, I'm sure that everything would have been reserved within the first 30 seconds or so. So admittedly, that might have worked out to my favor. We'll talk about that when we get to the results. But on the good side, the transactions were very smooth. So last time there was a lot of issues with bids getting placed instead of transactions and purchases going through. So this was much better. Once the website was working, it worked quite nicely, I thought. The interface was pretty good. The NFTs loaded much better than, say, a Zed Run drop. And so overall performance was pretty solid once it started to work. The other really positive thing is they really wanted to eliminate gas wars. I was skeptical that this system was going to actually accomplish that, mostly because gas has just been out of control for the last week or so, and there never seems to be a cheap time to make a transaction, but this was actually very, very cheap. I was paying for fast gas, trying to make sure that my transactions went through quickly, and it was still minuscule compared to most drops, so we definitely saved some money there. And overall, the distribution has been a little bit slower with this system, but we expected that going in, and so far I have received most of what I paid for, and I think they're gonna finish it up at some point tonight. But next, let's jump over to my OpenSea wallet and take a look at what we purchased. So let's take a look at how the drop went for me. I was told you in the last video that my plan was to go after 3 racetrack plots. They actually altered the rules so that 3 was the maximum. It had prior been 5, and I had played with the idea of going up to 5 as well, but they changed it to 3. That made the decision making simple. So that was my primary goal. I then wanted to try and grab a car or two if I could, and I was lucky enough to get, I think, one of the last cars that was available, as well as the 3 racetrack plots, at least we think. So here in the OpenSea wallet, you can see 3 of the 4 purchases that I made today. 2 of these are the rookie Racetrack Land plots that we were aiming for. Then the car is a rally class Panther. The Panther looks like a Trans Am inspired model for sure. That is my favorite car. So when I saw this one coming out, I was hoping that I'd be able to grab one. Didn't really care too much what level, but Rally is a comfortable price point for me at 0.04. So I was happy about that, and I did not realize it was going to be in teal or seafoam green, but that's a color that I really like, so I'm quite pleased with that. Now, I said I think we got 3 racetrack plots because that's how many I paid for, and that's how much Ethereum is out of my wallet at the moment. But we still have this one here sitting in my shopping cart. This is the marketplace for the Riot Racers app, and I don't know why, but this one always had a slightly different message on it. It says payment submitted, waiting, refresh page for update. In the Discord, one of the devs said that something like 99% of the transactions that went through were legit and would receive the NFT. So I'm not too worried that this didn't go through. They did say that if anybody made a payment and they aren't getting an NFT because they were sold out already, they'll of course be refunded. So that would be disappointment if that's what happens, but I think this is likely going to end up in my wallet sometime later tonight. So let's take a quick look at the marketplace. Now, quick caveats, the drop was finished several hours ago, but they are still distributing the NFTs themselves, and when that's the case, the marketplace is a bit slower to start. Also, just in general, it's only been very recently that the demand for this project has picked up. So the secondary marketplace had been on the slower side compared to some of the other projects that we've talked about so far. So I'm not expecting a ton of action just yet, but this is the current floor for the racetrack plots. Now, if you remember from the video, it was 0.2 to purchase each one of these. So these folks are asking for, 8, 9, 10 times what they paid. That is in large part because there's only 200 of them so far. There's only going to be 1,200 more coming as well. So there's limited opportunity to grab them at the drop price, and we'll see what the market bears. Now, just because this is the floor, that does not mean that this is what they are worth. You can see none of these have been sold yet. So that's just the asking price. We will see where some of the sales start to actually happen. My suspicion is that it will be below 1 Ethereum, at least early on. Likely because some of these folks probably purchased to flip and make a quick profit, because that's very popular in the NFT space. And so we'll likely see a handful of sellers kind of cut to the bottom real quickly. We'll see where the buying actually starts to happen, and that's what it's actually worth. The other factor is the car floor. So let's go back here, and we will take a look at the floor for the cars. This actually does have a little bit of action, but it hasn't changed very much from before the drop. So you're seeing some of the newer ones listed here. I believe the Mirage is brand new, but this is about what the floor looked like before the drop happened. There was a handful listed below 0.19 that got scooped up right around drop time, so it might have been people who missed out grabbing whatever the cheapest on secondary was left. But there hasn't been a ton of these sold just yet either. You can see there has been some though. So these are the going rates for the cars that were sold today during the drop. That has been generally on the rise lately, so we'll see if that continues. If you are looking to purchase more, or didn't participate in this drop, or maybe you just didn't successfully make any purchases this time, it looks like next month there will be the next drop. I believe there's going to be 2 more in total. They've got 1,200 more racetrack plots to sell in total, so over 2 more drops. We don't know how that'll be distributed, but that is only a couple more tries, and it's going to be more plots sold at a given time. So I think it'll be a little bit easier to grab something, but it's probably going to be difficult to grab a lot. I could even see them dropping the limit to 1, which would be disappointing because we definitely want to buy more than 1, but that might be the only fair way to get these distributed to a bunch of different owners, which that's what their goal is, and quite frankly, that's healthier for the game overall. So all in all, here at the Freeroll, we are happy. We got at least most of what we wanted. I think we probably got exactly what we wanted, and we still have a little bit of selling to do, probably. So I mentioned in the last video that my free roll strategy would be to try and sell one of the racetrack plots to cover the entire cost of the drop. We haven't seen one of those plots sell just yet. There's not a whole lot of them listed, and the ones that are listed quite high. So it'll likely take a few days to figure out if that's going to be possible, or if the market does not quite support that just yet. If I have to hold, I don't think that's a big deal at all. I expect that within the next couple of months, as we get closer to the game actually launching, we're going to see the value of all these assets go up. And then when the game is turned on and we can actually start earning Riot tokens and converting that into Ethereum, that's when you're going to see the values really skyrocket, if we hit that success point. So we took another step towards that today with this project. I think we're going to be in good shape to get some of our money back out relatively quickly, and we got at least most of what we were looking for. So now we're in really good shape to actually start playing to earn when Riot Racers launches. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. On the Freeroll, we got a whole bunch more information coming. We're doing videos on Axie Infinity and Guild of Guardians very soon. But there's a ton more projects that I'm starting to research, and we'll be doing an update on the overall month of August coming up very soon as well. So you don't want to miss any of that. Hit the like and subscribe button and follow us on Twitter. And gamers, we'll see you on the next one, because we're free rolling.